Hi everybody, Mr. Vanderzee here, and today we're going to be talking about presidential leadership qualities. So in this one, you want to just follow along on the note sheet. You can print it out or you can just fill it out digitally, but you will be using this in a summative assignment next week, so pay attention carefully. All right, here we go. The first presidential leadership quality we'll talk about is understanding the public. There we go. So this one right here is just about knowing the public's hopes, fears, and moods and acting accordingly. Sometimes you need to wait for certain ideas because you can understand that the public is not quite ready for that. You have to be very careful with how you phrase things, and an understanding of the public can be instrumental in really making you successful. All right, so understanding of public. Now, this is not really that easy for presidents because a lot of them are, maybe silver spoon folks who have had a lot of good things handed to them in life, have grown up in the elite, very wealthy. They're the upper 1%, and it's not a given that they will understand common American people, but the good presidents really do. All right. Number 2 is communication skills. All right, so this one, president can communicate ideas effectively, clearly, and in a way that inspires people to support them. They have to have some level of good communication skills, being comfortable in front of a crowd, speaking, and this can often make the difference between an effective president and a non-effective president. Presidents of the past didn't have to have this nearly as much 100 years ago. In our day and age, we expect it. They have to be effective in speaking in front of large crowds or in front of the TV cameras. All right. Number 3 is a sense of timing. So sometimes, my M didn't go. There we go. All right. Sometimes the president has to be a little bit careful about, again, when to introduce things. I kind of mentioned that with number 1, understanding the public can be a part of that. Knowing when the public is ready to accept something and knowing when, the time is not quite right now. For example, a president who wants to loosen gun restrictions. It's probably not the best time to do that when it's right, a week after a mass shooting or even a month after a really awful mass shooting, right? A sense of timing is important, being thoughtful about that. And there are a couple ways the presidents can do this. Releasing a trial balloon is one. This is where you kind of float an idea, maybe through an aide or something like that. Maybe the press secretary will mention, well, the president is considering, and it's easy for the president to back away from that. They've kind of floated the idea, how is the press and the public reacting to that idea? And if they're not reacting well, then, we were considering it, but no, we're not going to do that. And, the president didn't say that. That was just this lower level aide. Okay? Press leaks are another one. This is like often anonymous or, leaks. I don't know what else to say. Anonymous leaks to press, and they are sometimes actually approved. All right? Where a member of the White House might actually call a member of the press, newspaper, CNN, whatever, and leak a bit of information just to see how the public reacts to that. And then the White House can easily back away from that and say, I don't know where you heard that, that's not true, or something like that. So those kind of press leaks are kind of sneaky ways that the presidents can test the waters. All right. Number 4 is openness to new ideas. All right, willing to accept new solutions to problems. Staff members need to express ideas freely. This is, I think, one of the strengths of JFK. We saw in the Cuban Missile Crisis, where he wanted to listen to everyone. He did not come in with a ton of experience. He was younger. He was ready to accept new ideas because he was not very set in his ways yet, as an older person might be. And sat back and listened to his staff argue amongst themselves about the proper solution to the Cuban Missile Crisis, and then made his decision, but didn't shut down ideas. People knew they could express themselves freely around him and what they really thought. And that's a great strength. When people are afraid to say what they really think for how the president might react, that's kind of a weakness, and it can make it so that you only have yes people in the White House who are saying yes to everything, and iron doesn't sharpen iron very much in that way. All right. Number 5 is willing to compromise. Political compromise is sometimes essential. Each side gives a little but gets something in return. Knowing when to give a little and in order to get something done. And there are certainly times when it's good not to compromise and kind of hold your ground, but sometimes, we see the biggest political victories for presidents when there's a little bit of compromise. All right, number 6, a president can't wait. Oh yeah, political courage. A president can't wait for public support for an action they believe must be taken for the nation's benefit, even though the decision will be unpopular. Excuse me. So that kind of goes against maybe a sense of timing or some of these other ones here, understanding the public, because sometimes the president just has to do what's best and trust that later down the road, people will realize it. All right. And yeah, sometimes it's going to be unpopular in the moment, but it's just the right thing to do for the office of the president, for the country of the United States of America. So there are lots of other great qualities: decisiveness, administrative ability, vision, personal qualities. But these are a few. I think one that we used to talk about, I used to give an article, is actually loving people. And it kind of goes with number 1, understanding the public. If you really care about the American people, your actions, actions from a good heart are more likely to be the right actions, I think. And so I thought that was a good one. There's some wisdom there. But there are lots of other possibilities as well. Maybe you can think of other leadership qualities. It might be interesting to think about a coach or a youth pastor or a teacher or administrator or a boss that you have or someone, and think about, are they good leaders? And if so, what makes them a good leader? Think about those qualities. It can be kind of interesting to think about that on a personal level too. These are things that all of us can learn from. Some of them certainly apply more to the president than to us, but all of us are leaders in some respect, and some of you will be big-time leaders someday. And it's important to think about these qualities. All right, let me know if you have any questions. Flip it over to the other side, and there's going to be a little matching activity. And try to do that and see how you do, because that will, if you can do that well, it will help you on next week's summative assignment. All right, take care, everybody. Let me know if you have questions.